Welcome to the next episode of the Miss Collegiate USA Director's Cut Pageant Talk from the Director's Perspective, hosted by yours truly, Dr. Keia Brown, founder and president of the Miss Collegiate USA organization. My next guest on today's episode is a well-known leader in the pageantry world, first competing at Miss USA and then taking on the art of fashion design and illustration. She is one of our national sponsors. Please welcome Ellie O'Day of Ellie L Illustrations and former Miss Nebraska USA. I am so excited to be in the presence of true pageantry in itself, an artist. Please welcome Ellie O'Day.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. As I mentioned before, Ellie O'Day is the creator, founder, the visionary of Ellie L Illustrations and a true pageant girl at heart. She gets us. So I'm very honored to have you here today. And as a national sponsor, just to kind of talk to you about your pageant experience, what made you decide to create Ellie Illustrations and what's next for you?
Yeah, well, if you want the full story, it goes back until when I think it was 101 Dalmatians came out, the live action one. I don't remember the year, but I think it was around 8. There was a specific scene where Anita was a fashion designer and she drew the coat or whatever it was that Cruella was wearing. I was like, wow, I love that. I love that she could draw fashion. So that's the way backstory. And so I used to play Cruella de Vil when I was little, and I would draw and I would sign everything like it was in the movie. And I mean, I had sketchbooks filled with illustrations. And it was just a love I had from when I was 8 or even younger, growing up and filling these sketchbooks. And then when it came time for school to decide, I wanted to go into fashion because I love the fashion illustration side of it. And then when I graduated, I was like, I don't know what I want to do with this. I don't know. I really love the drawing side, but I didn't love the fashion industry at all. So I was at a loss. And it just took one of my friends posting on Facebook saying, can anyone sketch me in my wedding dress? And I messaged her. I was like, yeah, I can do that. I'll give it a try. And then after that, I posted to my Miss USA sisters and I said, hey, would anyone be interested in that? And they took that and ran with it for me. They were so great about posting and starting up Ellie L, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. So one day it was my full-time job.
Wow, that just gives me chills because I actually attended fashion. I majored in fashion merchandising,
yes,
but I did not have your technique or skill. So I knew that going into fashion design was probably a no-go. But I love that you talk about Cruella de Vil.
There's no animals harmed in my sketches, I promise you.
I love that. But having that inspiration so young, I think I saw an interview with you a while back that you said your favorite class was figure drawing. Yes. And that was something that you were so interested in. And when I heard that, I said, oh, I wish I had that skill to have that. But unique to you, I love the fashion industry until I was thrown into it in New York City. And then I was like, I wish I could draw.
Yes. I mean, that was me exactly. I was like, I don't think I want to do this.
So it was clear, it sounds like it was clear when you were ready to select your institution or higher ed, you knew your major, you wanted to focus on it. So it looks like you attended Linwood University with a major in fashion design and retail merchandising. Yeah. Why did you decide this school was your great fit, and how really did that journey or that experience impact your journey moving forward?
Well, I'm really excited to talk to you about this because with Miss Collegiate USA, you really emphasize scholarships. So through Miss USA, I was awarded, when I was Teen USA, I competed and I got second runner-up, and I received a really large scholarship to this school. Well, being from Nebraska, I've never heard of this school. It was a small school in Missouri, but because I had received that scholarship, my mom was like, let's just go down and check it out. And the second I set foot on that campus, I was like, this is it. This is where I want to be. I loved it. And because I had that scholarship, it was possible And the school really embraced pageant girls. And I remember I was in school on my runner-up scholarship. Well, my senior year, I won Miss Nebraska USA and was awarded a larger scholarship. And I went in to talk to see, like they said, you don't get more after you went into it. So I just went in to see. I went in to ask the guy who was in charge of the scholarships, and I actually ended up getting a full ride by going in and asking, because
That's awesome.
He was like, you are the reason why we give scholarships. The pageant girls on this campus are so hardworking, so dedicated. And at the time going into like a different story, I had created the first ever Miss Missouri Amazing Pageant at Lindenwood, and it was a huge campus-wide event. It got a lot of recognition for the school. And I think it really like went hand in hand, receiving scholarships and the work that the pageant girls at the school do to create a great name for the school was so really important for me to help out the school and be involved in that sense.
I love that. You gave me chills because it's the true essence, I feel, of pageantry, that we as pageant girls, yes, we love to dress up and we love to walk in heels sometimes, but it really is important that it resonates that we are role models for different organizations, businesses, and institutions. So for you to be able to be a representative and be confident to say, hey, I just want to check in to see if I can get more scholarships and get that full ride, and then still be such a presence on the campus through your time there, definitely shows the heart of pageantry. So thanks for sharing. I did not know that, but I love that story.
Yeah, Lindenwood was a really interesting school because I think even if you entered the pageant, you got a certain scholarship. So in classes, there's always someone that either competed in the pageant, won the pageant. Like when I was training for Miss USA, I went to the gym, and Morgan Willard, who was first runner-up at Miss USA, was there. And so I approached him like, hey, can you help me out? I'm competing at a state title. And there's a ton of just different pageant presence there.
Well, that's good to know. But I love that you made your name known on the campus, and took advantage of that opportunity, and look where you are today, thanks to them and scholarships.
Yeah.
So I would love, you told us a little bit about your background, and like, I feel like it was written for you when you were born, like you're going to be this amazing artist. And I love the work that you do.
Thank you.
Tell us so it looks like your connection through pageantry kind of propelled your business to become, at least start what it becomes. But what were some of the things that you didn't expect in starting this business? Maybe some of the challenges or, highlights that you'll call out to maybe some girls are looking to do the same.
Yeah. The thing that I still struggle with today, it's all the hats that you have to wear. Yes, there's a fun side of drawing and the glitter and the recognition like on Instagram and that growth there. But I mean, prepping for taxes and having the registration, all the back business ends is very hard to figure out, or even all the software, like the accounting software and the shipping software. You really have to wear a lot of different hats, and some that you don't want to wear, but you have to do it.
It's very true. I think that I love that you called that out, because that is something that is easily forgotten, but it is key to a business or an organization, and it's not the fancy side at all.
Yes, and
but it
I
has
mean,
to
you
be
have
done.
to do a lot of learning on different aspects of the business.
How helpful is it that we have platforms like YouTube to kind of give us cliff notes of what we need to know?
Yeah, some trial and error and footprints hopefully to follow.
With all of that responsibility, I know that you've taken some time, rightfully so, and I'm so happy that you did, with growing your family. How hard is it to balance all of those hats, including being mom?
Yeah, that's something I struggle with weekly at the end of the week when I'm like, okay, I didn't get this, and this done. And actually something happened a couple weeks ago, and I was stressed about not getting something done. And I think I was working at night, and my oldest woke up from a nightmare, And I went in and had to lay with her, and it was just a good reminder, like, this is it. Like, this is first priority. And everything else will wait, and I've been blessed with the most amazing, patient customers who totally get it. Like, hey, I didn't get to it this week, especially with our house being hit with the flu last week. I'm like, it's going to be another 2 weeks. I'm so sorry, but it is hard to balance everything.
Yeah. It's good to know that you see what's really important. Like you said, it's gracious that people realize people are people.
Yes.
And then it's you running this stellar business and things just happen. A lot of loss and disheartening happened with the pandemic, but I think a lot of grace also came with that, where people are starting to realize more so that, people are people need to take their time.
Yes.
And so I love that, you and I kind of said, it's not working out this week to record, but I totally get it. Take care of you first.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I really want to highlight is, I feel like you're a staple in the pageant world, as a nonprofit owner, but also as a pageant director and a pageant contestant. Like, I still haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, hey, Ellie, can you highlight me from 2015? But you are a true visionary and an artist, because the work that you do, it's spot on in comparison to the girls, whether it be pageants, cheerleading, sororities I saw that you've gotten involved in, and even graduation, capturing women at their best and most memorable moments is just truly your gem, because you get it and you really highlight. And so, as we talked about offline, having the signature MCU branded image you designed for us to kind of propel our nonprofit was really just a game changer for us. I think it really set the tone of what our mission and our values were. And I think I convey that to you maybe in a couple sentences via email, but you were able to take what our vision was and really be able to design it and create this amazing work. So really, what really sparked this desire to take on so many different ways in which you highlight pageants, cheerleading? What has been your favorite? And what do you see maybe as a future project, if any? Because you're doing a lot already.
Well, one of my favorites is definitely the pattern I created for you. I loved how you took the design and ran with it for branding and put it everywhere you could, and just using it in different ways. And I love thinking outside of the box, where else can you do this? And I think, for something in the future, I would love to do more of those patterns and just see where that could go with where to put it for different branding. And I'm obsessed with wardrobe illustrations right now. I have to say my least favorite thing to do is faces. I don't know if I can show this because I'll maybe cover the names, because I don't know if it's a gift. But I love sister illustrations like this, where it's just focus on the drawings. And I put this in a disclaimer for my emails. This is a fashion illustration, and I really put so much effort into the details, like you said. So when it comes to the face, I'm like, I'll try my best, but it's the fashion that I just love to really emphasize.
And to me, you nail it every time. Because like I said, I can probably show you some sketchbooks, because I did have to take some fashion design courses. There was an attempt, but I needed an Ellie in my life to do that homework for me.
That was my strength. Everything else was a bit of my weakness, but I did like the aspect.
We could have just traded those.
Yes, I had a roommate that she was so technical when it came to sewing and patterns, and but the drawing side, I'm like, hey, let's help each other out. I'll help you with this homework. You help me with this homework.
And see, I was surprised at myself with the sewing piece of it. So it wasn't too bad. It was the sketching. And then I could do the visual merchandising. I could do all the production and the sales. So we needed to be together.
Yes, absolutely.
To make that work.
On the world.
So I want to talk a little bit about your involvement in pageantry, kind of the heart and soul of, what kind of started Ellie L illustrations besides your amazing talent. You were Miss Nebraska USA, and you had the unique privilege, very rare for many, to compete at Miss USA. can you share what was some of your memorable moments as the state title holder, and tell us about Miss USA?
All right. Yeah. Well, my platform was anything and all things that incorporated those with special needs. My oldest brother was born with special needs. And so as Miss Nebraska, I just wanted to do everything all at once. So I worked a lot with Easter Seals, Autism Speaks, Miss Amazing Pageant, the VSP Club, just any Special Olympics, any organization that I could help with. I was very involved in that. And then Miss USA, I'd have to say my highlight was just creating memories with my friends I made. I know you talk about sisterhood.
Yes.
And that is something that's really important with me for pageants. So I think that's something that gets kind of lost in the competition side of it. Like, you think you're competing, but it's not that at all.
Yeah.
I had 2 of my Miss USA sisters were my bridesmaids. My Miss USA sister, Miss Arkansas, is actually the godmother of my youngest child. I mean, It is a sisterhood that lasts. And so, like, I love getting together and say, oh, do you remember this? And like, now looking back how long ago it felt, but we still have all these stories that we laugh about. and yeah, so just creating memories with people that only knew what was going on because they were with you.
Yes.
I can explain it to anyone else, but like, they had to be there to really understand it, and they did.
It's very true that there's always a misconception of pageantry and the pageant girls, but it has been consistent with everyone I've talked to in the field that sisterhood is really just key in pageantry.
Yes, absolutely.
I think pageantry is a hobby, just like any other cheerleading or Girl Scouts, things like that. But we chose pageantry.
Yes,
and so there is, like you said, when you have something so unique as the privilege of going to Miss USA or a national pageant, that you're bonded with people that are experiencing that same moment with you.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear that bridesmaids and godparents and things like that have come about, those relationships that were built such a long time ago, and it continues to form.
Mm-hmm.
You answered my question about what's important. I think you shared more about scholarship and sisterhood. Overall, how has being involved in pageantry transformed your life?
Oh, I mean, every tiny little detail, I feel like it has somehow found its way in that between like confidence and like social skills you learn from it, like just public speaking. I mean, there's so many aspects that have completely changed my life because of it. I mean, even going to Lindenwood because of that scholarship, I met my husband, and that, I mean, it can link back into that, where you'll be surprised throughout your life where that something that you learn from pageantry will creep in.
I agree. It does creep in. You're like, oh, I didn't know I had that skill.
Yes. And like, win or lose, I mean, I always said, like, you don't ever lose a pageant. You don't. You may not have been crowned. You might have won technically, but you learn so much. You gain so much from just entering a pageant. I mean, it took me 5 years, I think, to win Miss Nebraska, 2 as teen, 3 as a Miss. And every year I was like, okay, I learned this. I gained this friend. I had this opportunity. And I mean, you just grow so much through the whole process.
Yeah, I definitely feel I am now a talker, but growing up before pageants, I was definitely a shy one. So just having that skill of being confident, and now they can't shut me up, having that confidence to build relationships and feel comfortable approaching people is some takeaways that newbies as well as pageant vets feel they gain from pageantry. It's great to hear you found your husband through that.
Yeah, we just met the first day of school, and at this school in Missouri. So,
well, there was so much that was offered from just a scholarship that was offered at a pageant. You gained an education, a husband, a family. I mean,
yeah. If I had never entered Miss Nebraska Teen USA, it was really like the kind of driving point for my future.
So, I have to ask, because you mentioned it, the Miss Amazing pageant, I saw that you were involved in the state director, I believe, for
Yes.
quite some time. It sounds like that is a commitment with family is really important to you. And so what did that involvement, what did you gain from that being a director versus a contestant?
Yeah.
And then what were some wins for you?
So yeah, the Miss Amazing organization was actually started in Nebraska. I knew the founder, and then she took the pageant nationwide. I was looking for state directors while I was at school in Missouri at the time. So I took on the Missouri directorship, and my sister took on the Iowa directorship, just because it was 30 minutes away. And it was just so much fun to grow. It was really funny. It was before like websites, it was before social media. So we had this pageant for girls and women with special needs, but really not like a marketing book or like the visuals that we have today.
Yes.
And so it was a really hard sell for a lot of people because they didn't see the whole concept of it. So when I went in to go speak about this, they had the misconception of what pageants get the bad name of. So like, no, like I had to sell it. And so just growing that and really switching people's mindset of what pageants are, and the families that participated afterwards, they're like, it is so just volunteer based, so inspiring, so encouraging. They gain so much confidence and opportunity. For me, it's the opportunity. I look at my brother who has special needs, and he doesn't have the opportunities that me and my siblings had growing up. And it was just another way to create an event for girls to feel dressed up and get their makeup done and make new friends, and just really change their lives in that sense. So it was a real big passion project for me. The thing that unfortunately happened was it became such a big event, and I was still in school, or once I graduated, I was trying to find a job, and I couldn't have this job and another job. So it was time for me to pass it on for someone who else could keep growing. Right. But it has been so special to me and my family. And now that we've kind of settled, my family and I actually created an event last year inspired by the Miss Amazing pageant. It was a talent show for boys and girls with special needs, but the same kind of concept, giving them an opportunity to perform their talent, to make new friends, to just get together and have a great show. So now I feel like it's finally coming back full circle, that I can really go back to doing what I love, and that's running events like that.
I love that. I'm so happy I asked that question, because I would love to learn a little bit more, and I'm sure our listeners would too. Are you planning to have that again in the future?
Yes, we keep saying we need to have a meeting. We're hoping to, it was a fundraising event for special needs.
Okay.
For Special Olympics. It was for Special Olympics. We raised $15,000 for this event. And now next year we're hoping to create it as an official nonprofit to do it yearly. But yeah, we're working on the second annual, we call it the This Is Me Talent Showcase.
Oh, so I love it.
We have that in the works for next year as well.
Well, you'll definitely have to provide me additional information so I can share that with our community to provide support. Yes, absolutely. Those are the passion projects that fall, stem from backgrounds that we grew up on. And so I know that there will be great support with that.
Yeah.
I've had a pageant sister that is the director. She and her mom are the director of Miss Amazing in West Virginia. So I know how amazing that program is. And she and her mom are great. So I know I've seen great things that they have been able to do over the last couple of years. Yeah. So kudos to the program, and kudos to you and your family for taking on and branching off with another opportunity for both men and women.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I want to just jump back to Ellie L illustrations. I know you always announce some exciting things, but I will let those be secrets. But what can our listeners find?
Right now I'm working on different gift options and different price levels too. I'm really focusing on sponsorships this year.
Thank you very much, Ellie.
Yes. Yep. I'm hoping just gift options and different ideas. I'm always open. I love when I get emails saying, hey, can you do this? That really pushed me out of my thinking. So I'm open to anything. And right now it's just trying to get a hold of my backlog orders. So once I get a little free time, I'm hoping to see what's new. One thing I've always wanted to do and just be more of a like go to pageants, set up vendor booths, really get to know people in person. Right now I'm just in my little office, but I'm hoping to have my first vendor table at some pageants here in Omaha to kind of test that out and see if it's something I want to do more of, traveling or just different gift options that we can sell at tables rather than all custom works. So yeah.
I love that. Well, you please know MCU is definitely welcoming of you anytime you want to come.
I would love that. That'll be the goal, to work up, like figure it out and then come see you guys.
Yes. Or we'll come meet you somewhere. I love that. Well, I appreciate you. I definitely have some future ideas and orders that's coming your way. I understand. I will give you grace because I know you're super busy. It's a great problem to have as a business owner, having orders. But thank you for all that you do. Your work, like I said, is immaculate. I think it definitely represents the essence of pageantry and the sisterhood, because you do groups as well as individuals. So I appreciate your work and thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy lady.
Thank you so much. I just enjoyed getting to know you and really talk to you as a person rather through emails, because it's just so nice to really get to know everyone who I'm talking to.
Absolutely. And we are proud that you are part of the MCU community as a national sponsor, and will continue to support your organization, your company, and what you do. So thank you for taking the time. I know you have girls waiting for you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Start soon.